Okay, good morning. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Friday, October 24th, Audit Committee meeting. Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. Jack Lesson.
Here.
Dave Sandberg.
Present.
Mary Ann Sheely.
Here.
Barbara Puffer via Zoom.
Yes.
And myself, Brian Thomas. Okay. We need a nomination for the chair of the audit committee. Do we have a nomination?
Brian, before that, we need to ask permission from the committee that Barbara can participate via Zoom.
Okay, okay. I'd like to ask at this point, for the committee, if you're in approval and acceptance of Barbara joining via Zoom. Mary Ann?
Yes.
Yes.
Dave? Jack?
Yes.
Brian's a yes. Okay. So nomination for chair, do we have a nomination for chair of the audit committee?
We nominate other people, right?
Yeah.
You guys do this?
I nominate you to stay as chair. You're doing a good
Okay.
job.
Okay, Mary Ann, well, thank you for the nomination. I guess we need a second.
I'll second that.
All those in favor signify by
Aye.
saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. All right, unanimous. And now we need a nomination for vice chair.
Dave, you want to do it? Why not?
Why not?
All right, so we have a motion for Dave Sandberg as vice chair of the audit committee from Jack Lesson. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mary Ann. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay, unanimous.
There we go.
All right, item 4.
Brian
approve-
needs help.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Jack. I do, daily. Approval of the minutes. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
Any discussion, any commentary regarding same? Okay, there being none, I'd like to request a motion for the approval of the minutes.
Motion to approve?
So move.
Okay, and we have a second.
I
But-
second.
Okay, second by Jack. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Okay, is unanimous on that. Public comment? Do we have anybody here today for public comment? We had a gentleman, but I don't think he's looking for us possibly. Okay. There being no public comment, we'll move into item 7, presentation of financial or final audit results for fiscal year ending September 30 by Wade Stansbury. Wade, welcome.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to be here with you, even if it's virtually. I think I was going to be able to make it personally to your previous meeting, but I unfortunately would not be able to do it today. I've got another meeting scheduled shortly after this one, so again, just appreciate that. I've got a brief presentation for you all today. Hopefully you can see my slides. I'll go through those pretty quickly. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, just feel free to go ahead and raise your hand. Otherwise, I'll open up the floor at the end for any other questions. So we'll just jump right in. Just got, again, a brief presentation. I'm gonna give you a little bit of information about Malden & Jenkins, about our overall audit opinions, and some required communications, and then again, answer any questions that you all may have. First off, again, my name is Wade Stansbury. I am the partner in charge of your overall audit. I am very quickly coming up on 30 years of experience, all with Malden & Jenkins. Really, at the end of the year, I will have reached a full 30 years. It's kind of hard to believe that it's been that long. But again, I was the engagement partner. Trey Scott was our EQCR, our quality control review partner this year. Just a little bit of name to the face there. So Malden and Jenkins, again, you've probably seen this before. We're a large regional audit firm founded in 1918, so we have well over a 100-year history of providing services to our clients here in the Southeast. We currently provide services to well over 740 governmental entities such as the town, including about 175 that annually receive the GFOA Certificate of Excellence. Also, we do provide free CPE that hopefully that Joe and his staff have been able to partake in. Lastly, I'll just say that the current GASB chair, which is the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, which oversees all governments in the United States, that current chair is Joel Black. He was actually a partner with us at Malden and Jenkins before moving on to the GASB. So Joel and I actually made partner together way back in 2005. So real happy about all that for Joel. All right, so just real quickly into the statements themselves. We did issue an unmodified audit report or audit opinion. This is the highest form of assurance that we can provide. This is the type of opinion that you all wish to receive each and every year. In our opinion, the financial statements are considered to present fairly in all material respects the financial position and results of operations of the town as of and for the year ended September 30th of 2024. In the back of the report, there are a couple of compliance reports, the first of which is the Yellow Book report. This is our report on internal controls and compliances with laws, regulations, whatnot. We did report 2 findings this year. Those were purely accounting related findings. The first one was related to accounts payable. As part of our cutoff testing, we do a lot of testing of subsequent disbursements to determine if any accounts payable, any disbursements made after the year end really should have been recorded in 2024 or 2025. And we found several that should have been included in 2024. Again, not that big of a deal, but that's something that we had to, again, report as a finding. Additionally, there was another finding relating to the ARPA funds. Those funds were received several years ago, but the standards require the town to record obviously the cash position and then a deferred inflow. All of those funds are not earned as revenue until basically they are spent. When all the compliance requirements have been met and you've spent those funds, that's when those funds need to be actually recorded as revenue. There was a little bit of an issue in how those were recorded, and so we had to make a journal entry there to get those properly stated as of the end of the year. Now, those are 2 findings, like I mentioned. There's really nothing significant there to worry about. I think with all of the changes that were occurring throughout the year, and certainly right before the overall audit process took place, kind of led to those issues. I do know that Joe, obviously glad to have, I know I'm glad to have him back with the town. I think he's doing a really good job for the town. And I think had he been there fully the entire time, that these would not have been an issue. Additionally, on this same slide, for single audits, the town received a significant amount of both federal and state awards, almost $34 million worth this year. That required us to perform 6 separate individual single audits. I believe that was 2 for federal and 4 for state. And of course, that's $34 million of activity that's typically not a part of the town's overall operations. And so we noted no issues with regards to those single audits and those funds and the usage and spending of those funds. So 2024 was a very significant year of activity. Obviously, the majority of those awards were related to dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Ian. And so again, all in all, I'm certainly very happy with how the town's finance department took care of all of the books and records this year. So I don't want you all to think that those 2 findings are that significant. They're really just accounting related things that we have to report because they were of a material nature in the adjustments, but those have been made and they have been corrected, and hopefully we won't see any of those things going forward in the future. Then just some overall high-level information about the financial results. The town's overall net position increased by about $7 million for the year ended September 30th, 2024. This change increased the town's total net position to a total of about $75.4 million. Obviously, the biggest reason for the overall increase was the receipt of some significant grants, as I mentioned previously. This slide is just some information on the general fund. The next two slides are as well. This being the significant fund for the town, we want to know where the majority of the funds coming from, and then on the next slide, where do those funds go? This year, the overall largest amount of revenues in the general fund were related to intergovernmental or grant revenues. That's certainly larger than normal years. Typically, it's your property tax revenues that are the largest, as well as charges for services. But again, that's just kind of the breakdown as it turned out for 2024. And then how did those expenditures, where were they spent? The largest of which is very typical to either be public safety for you all, or general government, and then culture and recreation. So very, very reasonable overall expenditures there from the general fund. General fund balance history. Over the last couple of years, that total fund balance has come up. Do note that the general fund is a modified accrual basis of recording activities. And so there was about a $5 million overall loan that was received during 2024 that went into fund balance for the year. So that's a big reason for the overall increase for the general fund for 2024. Then moving on to your enterprise funds, the water and sewer and your stormwater fund. This is a comparison between operating revenues and operating expenses. For this slide, I always want to see the operating revenues exceeding your operating expenditures. This tells me that you all are charging appropriate rates to cover the costs of your overall operations. So those are all very good there for 2024. This next slide is a comparison of those revenues from 24 to 2023. Clearly, both water and stormwater were up. Obviously, with the disruption that Ian caused for the majority of 2023, some of those revenues were a lot lower, and they came back up to a little bit more of a normal level in 2024 versus 2023. Same kind of idea when it comes to the overall expenses. In 23, there were a lot of overall repair and maintenance kind of related expenses, which were again out of the ordinary. Those came down, and so the water and sewer fund actually had less operating expenses than they did in 23. Then just some high-level town statistics for 24. Our overall spending per resident came out to about $7,400. Your general fund balance ended the year at about $23.6 million. That's about a 39.4% increase. Again, a large part of that increase, like I mentioned, was due to a loan that was received during the year. You all have about $13,000 in total debt per resident. Your total number of employees as of the end of the year was right at 79. Then you've got some overall average employee salary statistics, as well as percentage of your general fund budget spent on salaries and benefits for 24. Now those are going to look a little different from 2023. Obviously, your overall budget changed for 24 versus 23. You also had additional employees in 24 versus 23. So here's the 23 slide. Again, spending per resident a little bit lower. General fund balance was a good strong increase even in 23. Your debt per resident right at 11,000. So it was an increase in 24. You only had 72 employees at the end of 23. And then there's some overall salary information as well. So that's all of the slides I have. You all do have both the financial statements themselves as well as a document that we call our auditor's discussion and analysis, our AD&A, if you will. Within the financial statements is the MD&A, the management's discussion and analysis. I always recommend, if you don't read the entire set of financial statements, that you do read the MD&A. The MD&A is written by management, by Joe and his staff. And it gives a good comparison of 24 to 23 and kind of explains why something might have gone up or down for your information. But the AD&A, the auditor's discussion analysis, it's a all-inclusive document that we put together at the end of the audit that talks about all of the required communications that we must go through. They're always in a written format for you all. Additionally, we go into the findings and recommendations that we've already talked about. And lastly, there are a lot of upcoming GASB statements that will be applicable to the town in the future. We list all those out for your reading. And lastly, we do note that we do provide free continuing professional education. That CPE, really since COVID, has been done virtually, kind of in this same format, so that you don't have to, no one has to travel, incur those costs anymore. And we're seeing a significant amount of participation because of that, so we're going to continue to do so. But certainly the finance department, anyone in that department is more than welcome to attend those classes. Anyone on this board is more than welcome to attend those classes, as well as the actual town council. So with all that, that's really all I had. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Anybody?
No.
No, wait, I don't believe we have any questions, sir. Thank you. Very, very comprehensive, very complete, and on behalf of the committee and the town, we appreciate it very much.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much. If you all do ever have any questions, feel free to reach out. We're always here to help. And hope you all have a great rest of the day and a great weekend.
You as well, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, do we need a motion to approve?
Yes.
Okay. So I'd like a motion to approve the presentation of the final audit results for fiscal year ending September 30, 2024. Do I have a second?
A second the motion?
A second by Dave. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay. Next item on the agenda is a recommendation to accept audit results for fiscal year. We just did that?
Yes.
Okay, pardon me. Item number 3, under section 7, review and approve RFP for selection of auditors for fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025. And I believe you all have that packet in front of you. After review of the RFP, do any of the members on the committee have any comments? Barbara?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Jack, any questions about the RFP?
No.
Dave?
No.
Mary Ann? I have none myself. Joe, do we need to kind of walk through what's contemplated here?
Sure. I mean, this is a document that's probably, this might be, I know for sure it's the second time it's come to you, possibly the third time, but it's already was sent out to you previously for review and your comments, and we incorporated them into it. And basically, what it would be, let me see if I can get to that spot. It's your comments. I'm looking at the wrong document. No wonder I'm not recognizing it. I apologize. Okay, so the proposal, it's really the scope that you would need to focus on, because that is what outlines the responsibilities of the auditor. And I believe, I'm sorry, I should have marked the document. But as far as I understood it, I think you were satisfied with what it was at the time that was originally provided to you. So this is,
And do we know, Joe, has the town identified candidates to share the RFP, or is this going to be, it'll be placed in an open disclosure environment and then people can respond?
it's the latter. It'll be provided on, well, first of all, it always is posted on our town website, but we have a public place where we submit our bids to. I don't recall the name of it, but it is something that is accessible for government entities and those who are wishing to participate in providing services, and so that's where it would be posted. We don't have necessarily a list that we would specifically send them out to.
Okay.
So it really would depend on them checking that website to see that there is this opportunity available to them. So most of what's in here, well, I just found the scope of work, it's on page 25, but most of what's in, it's a large document, but most of what's included in here are all the legal requirements that go along with the contract. So that's the bulk of it. But basically, we're talking about the financial statement audit, and this would be for another 3-year period, so that you wouldn't have to necessarily change auditors after 3 years. Every year. And it includes the single audit that would need to be done, or multiple single audits, depending on the amount of federal and state awards that the town receives. Let's see. It requires that they submit a cost proposal, but cost is not the deciding factor in a request for proposals. It's just one of them. And basically, it's their qualifications that would become the deciding factor. Let's see. And, yeah, I'm not really seeing anything that's unusual for this that needs to be pointed out. It's really a basic audit, and we're just looking for competent auditors to do that for us.
So Joe, the process is just, what, because I thought we had done this last year.
We were going to, but there was still one more renewal option for their
Okay.
contract. And so the decision was made to just renew it one
Got it. Okay.
additional year. But now what'll happen is this will go out, I believe it's within 30 days. This may need to go, first of all, back to the attorney, just to make sure that there's not additional contractual language that needs to be included, since the last time it was looked at. That would be a minimum amount of time on her end, and then it would be issued. And then I believe it's about 30 days till we get the responses back. When we get the responses back, then we'll have another meeting. You as the audit committee would be the ones who
Yep.
would select who was chosen.
And again, it'll be for a 3-year, this round will be for a 3-year
Yes.
period.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. Do we have a motion for the approval of the RFP document for the selection of an auditor going forward? Do I have a motion to move forward with the RFP process?
Motion to move forward with the RFP is presented.
Motion by Dave, do we have a second? Second by Mary Ann. Do we have any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay? Okay. We'll move to the finance director's report, please, Joe.
Okay, well, this is embarrassing somehow.
You
My
need a
own
copy?
copy of the report is
I've got an extra
not
copy.
here. I knew I would mess something up. Thank you very much,
You're
Brian.
welcome.
Okay. So what I just wanted to do for this meeting, my first meeting that I'm back, is just kind of walk you through what's happened since the last meeting. That was in March, April. But these are the activity, and at the April meeting, we had reported on activities through March. So this would be a report, just a brief summary since March. So between April and June, the town lost the finance director, the accounting manager, the budget manager, the accounts receivable specialist, the utility billing specialist, and accounts payable specialist. So it was just nearly the entire department was gone within just a couple of months. And the grants coordinator, who was still on staff was on leave, and was temporarily, and so that she was not able to perform her duties because she was on leave. And we did have a newly hired senior accountant who then had reduced his hours to part-time and eventually resigned. So because of that entire scenario, a consulting firm, Goldman and Wolf, were engaged to fulfill the functions of the vacant finance director, accounting manager, budget manager, and accounts payable positions. Obviously, it was a very challenging time for them to walk into that situation, considering that they did an excellent job of stepping in and continuing the financial operations of the town, as well as responding to audit requests, because that was a point in time at which the audit was beginning. The staff previously had prepared everything as best as they could before they departed, but then, there is that period of time in which the auditors are requesting all of the documentation that they need to do their audit. And there may have been some remaining schedules to be prepared that they prepared as well. Donna Estes was hired May 20th as an accounts receivable specialist, and then she quickly assumed higher level responsibilities in terms of accounting, and introduced improvements to P-card administration. So she became a valuable asset from the very beginning. Lisa Hollywood was hired to serve as half-time receptionist and half-time utility billing specialist to try to fill the void that was left when the utility billing specialist left, and she's been doing an excellent job with that. Cassandra Penner was hired July 8th as the budget manager, so she basically only had a few weeks to come up to speed and help prepare the budget, and did an excellent job in doing that, and working with me as well in preparing the presentations for the budget. And then I returned to the town July 23rd, starting out working in the evenings and weekends for the first couple of weeks, and then began full-time weekdays as of August 1st. The grants coordinator, Flor Lemmer, returned from her leave and is now working part-time. And that has been a wonderful thing to have happened since we had become or fallen behind in the submissions for the reimbursement requests for everything that we could be reimbursed for, both from FEMA and from grants. And TDC funding is one of the main sources of operational funding for the town, and so that was important to resume those reimbursement requests. And now we have a new senior accountant who will be starting November 10th. And then in the meantime, we've lost our contracts procurement specialist. So that was like the last remaining person in the finance department. And now that function is temporarily transitioned back to the town clerk's office, where they had previously handled that function, and they will be have taken over that responsibility until the vacancy is filled. So there's been a massive turnover in the finance department, and so I just wanted to list some of the consequences, which are probably obvious, of those staffing challenges. As a result of that, it was not possible to complete the audit by the June 30th statutory deadline, but it was instead completed August 31st, and there were communications with the Florida Attorney General Office regarding that, the Auditor General's Office, and I apologize if I'm not mentioning their accurate department names. Although the budget was completed by the statutory deadline, it was not possible to have the budget documents available as far in advance as they normally would have been. So I know that was a challenge for everyone involved, and but we did our utmost to provide whatever we did have and make that available, and to keep everyone updated as we went. And although the status of the emergency fund was determined in time for the very final budget hearing, it was not possible, due to all the staffing challenges, to provide that status as soon as it normally would have been provided. So that was an issue as well. We are several months behind in completing reconciliations and adjusting journal entries that are necessary to enable production of timely financial statements. So that is a challenge, but we're working to get caught up on those, but it will take a few months to do so. We are also several months behind in compiling expense reimbursements to submit to FEMA and our granting agencies. And I'll just pause there to say that Tidal Basin has been working feverishly with us and trying to kind of spoon feed us in terms of priorities, what we should be submitting, for which we'd receive the most and the most quickly, the most reimbursement and the most quickly. So that also will be enhancing our cash flow by focusing on the most fruitful submissions. And so they've been very instrumental in helping us sort through that and prioritize those submissions so that we can get caught up, but do so in a way that we most positively impact our cash flow. And then we also had a utility rate study that began last spring. It was delayed as a result of all the staffing turnover, but now that positions are being filled again and there's more ability to provide the information to them, that rate study is moving forward. And the ultimate outcome of that rate study will be a recommendation of a set of new utility rates for both stormwater and water, going forward for a 5-year plan that would incorporate any capital improvements and increases or changes of any sort in operational expenses. And
So, Joe, sorry,
yes.
do you want to wait till the end for questions, or?
No, if you have one.
Yeah, more related to staffing. Are you back up to full staff at this point, or what is your, so you've made some hires, are you back to full strength, or where are you at?
Well, we still have 2 positions that are being filled by the consulting firm.
Okay.
And so that would be the controller/accounting manager position. I mean, it's filled right now with a very capable person, but it's as a consultant, not an employee, so we're still looking to fill that position. And then we have an accounts payable position that's also filled by the consulting firm, and so we're looking to fill that position. The grants coordinator position, she's back part-time, but we really need someone full-time. So we're looking for that position as well. So there's people in place, they're just temporary, which it just continues to make it more challenging because there's still gonna be more transitions
Right.
to manage through.
But at least you've got, all positions are filled with somebody at this point.
Yes, they are.
Between full-time
Yes.
staff or consultants.
How did everybody leave at the same time? It must have been crazy.
I can't speak for them. I know we were all overwhelmed. It was very,
Okay.
very difficult to keep up, and I mean, it really hasn't changed. I mean, I didn't come back because I certainly wasn't offered any more money. It's not because things are better. I just wanted to come back, and continue helping. And I'm happy to be back. I did leave thinking, well, maybe someone, if I pass the baton to someone else who could be able to keep up better with it, that may help the town, but I guess that was the wrong decision on my part. So I'm glad to be back, and I apologize for any disruption that my leaving created, because we certainly didn't intend that to happen. And I'm thankful for those who have filled the void while I was away and who filled the gap when all the other staff members left. That was my final comment, is I wanted to emphasize what an extraordinary job they are all doing, considering what they had to deal with.
Thank you.
I wanted to then, highlight a few other things. So our utility billing supervisor, Roxanne Frank, was able to still accomplish an incredible feat by almost single-handedly managing the conversion of the utility billing system software from the old antiquated AVR, I think it was DOS-based system, to the new CUSI UB4 billing system. So that went very well. I mean, obviously it was challenging, and she was able to work through those challenges. We still have some reporting issues in the sense that we need to find suitable reports that would best meet Lee County's needs in terms of providing them with the information they look for from us, but we're working on that, and, you know, it's a very robust reporting system. It's just a matter of figuring out which are the best ones to provide them. And so they're working with us, and they've been very patient as we do so. Then the accounting system itself, that conversion, the decision was made to go with Tyler ERP Pro, and we started to make some progress on that before I left. But that was all put on hold because of all the turnover and the transition. And now there's an opportunity to possibly upgrade. It'd still be with Tyler, but they have a version of software that is more robust and may be even better suited for our needs. So if we can figure out how to adjust our expenditures in other areas so that it's not going to be a net increase in cost, we would consider switching to the upgraded version. And so we're in the process of evaluating that. But either way, we should be resuming implementation of either the original planned ERP Pro or an upgrade version very soon. And we hope to have something in place by the end of this fiscal year. We are, of course, continuing to work on submitting documentation for FEMA and FDEM that are required for reimbursement for emergency expenditures. It's quite an arduous process. This is still going on from after Hurricane Ian because of all the expenditures that there were and all of the documentation that is required and the limited staff. So we can only focus on one project at a time or a small group of them at a time because of the amount involved. And this also, it's not just our submitting the information, but it's having on-site visits and evaluations by FEMA staff coming to take tours of the projects, the damage, cataloging it. So there's quite a bit of time that's involved on both FEMA's end and our end. And it's actually an incredible amount of time that they invest into this. But it is also the reason why this is just continuing to take so long, because it takes a long time to get through all those processes. Let's see, and then I think I already mentioned the expense reimbursement request for our granting agencies like TDC, the Tourism Development Council, the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, which has provided major grants for beach renourishment, for our Lee County partners as well. There's quite a few expenditures that are now ready to be submitted, and our grants coordinator is working on that. For example, just beach renourishment alone, there's $8.5 million that we spent that came out of our bank account that we are now ready to have reimbursed to us. Of course, all the routine operations are continuing as well. And because we have new people in place, they're not only learning how to do it, they're also, because of their previous experience that they bring, they're helping us improve upon processes as well. So that's been one of the benefits of having new people, is they bring new ideas and new ideas for improvement. And then I think you all are aware that Town Council adopted a millage rate of 1.0294, which was an increase over the original 0.99. And this increase will generate an additional $177,000 of ad valorem revenue. And then the last thing I wanted to mention, which is maybe the most significant, is that we do, or at the time I prepared this analysis, I don't think it's changed significantly because there's not been that much activity since then, but there was a $9 million deficit within the emergency fund. And I've tried to include in the report a brief summary of what composed that deficit, or how that happened. We have a total of almost $43.5 million of emergency expenditures between Hurricane Ian, Hurricane Helene, Hurricane Milton, Hurricane Idalia. All of that combined that actually went out the door was $43.5 million. We did receive almost $11 million of insurance proceeds, and most of that came up front after each of the storms, so that was helpful for cash flow. And we did receive so far almost $18.5 million of FEMA and FDEM reimbursements. We did utilize some of the American Rescue Plan Act monies to help cover the cost of things that we weren't going to be reimbursed for by FEMA, and that was about $440,000 worth. And then we transferred savings from FY '23 and FY '24 into the emergency fund, $2 million from each of those years for a total of $4 million. And then we also, as part of our general fund budget, we added money into the into the emergency fund from the general fund each year. In 2024, we added $225,000, and then in 2025, we added $435,000. So, and then we also received donations totaling almost $35,000. So the net result of all those expenditures and those incoming revenues was a $9 million deficit. We still are expecting to receive $12.2 million from FEMA and FDEM, and once that occurs, we'll be left with a balance. At this point, it looks like about $3.2 million, but this may still take a year or more to receive that $12 million. So that is kind of a synopsis of where we are with the emergency fund, and I don't have anything else to report on, but I'd be happy to answer questions.
Yeah, anybody have any questions? Stuff, Joe, Barbara, Marianne, Dave?
So Joe, the emergency fund, if I remember, you were trying to get to 4 million? Was that kind of the target to have as a backup, just to cover immediate needs? Is that correct?
It was, I mean, I'll be careful how I answer this, because I don't know for sure what we calculated back a year ago, but 4 million, I think, is the minimum, but I believe it was higher than that, probably like 5 million, but I'd have to go back. And it's almost irrelevant in the sense that I think we have to go back now, given this experience.
Yeah.
And now that this is a $9 million deficit after experiencing all of this, I really think we need to consider bringing it up at maybe that high. But you know, we are so limited in our sources of funding. We just have to be careful at what we set the goals at to make sure they're realistic. But obviously, the 4 million wasn't enough.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Anyone else? All right. Do you have a
Nice.
motion?
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Joe, as usual, you're so thorough. We're so happy to have you back, and thank you. A little housekeeping. Since I'm on the Zoom side, it's very hard to hear if you don't speak directly into the microphone. And sometimes when you turn your head, the microphone ends up over your shoulder. So I just point that out, because if I can't hear it, I'm sure
Okay.
our large audience of the public who loves to watch us, I'm sure
No.
we're the best show on TV. They wouldn't be able to hear either.
Thank you for
So
pointing that out.
okay.
Good point, Barbara. Yes, because we all know this is at a minimum riveting, so. Okay, any other questions of the, regarding the Finance Committee report? Okay, do I have a motion for the approval of the Finance Director's report dated October 24th, 2025?
I motion.
I have a motion by
move.
Jack. We have a second by Barbara.
Second?
Thank you,
Yes,
Barbara.
thank you.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay, it passes unanimously. Member items and reports. Does anybody have anything for the good of the core? No? It looks like the next item on the agenda is in regards to the next meeting, which is scheduled for Monday, November 10th. Does anybody have a conflict with that date? Oh, okay, unfortunately, I have a conflict with that date. What's our options, Joe?
Well, the other possibility would be to maybe wait till this December meeting. Probably by then, we would have the RFPs returned, the proposals for you maybe review. I can't commit to that, but that's a possibility.
Okay.
And maybe that might be a better time to have a reason to meet.
Is that acceptable to everyone?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Now, I know in the past, many times, we've been requested to have a particular date. Are we okay to set our own date?
Well, I mean, as long as it follows with, oh, I see, I don't have that December date. I'm sorry.
You're all
I should
good.
know that. It's on the town calendar. I don't know if I can find
Okay.
that. Let's see.
Sorry about that for my conflict on my schedule.
Yeah. Oh,
Isn't it always the second Monday?
it should be.
So
It
is that
should
the
be.
8th,
That'd be the
December 8th?
That sounds right. I mean, so maybe you can approve that subject to correction if that's wrong.
Okay. On behalf of the committee, does Monday, December 8th at 9 AM work for everyone?
Yes, works for me.
I won't be here.
Okay, so we won't have Jack?
Well, I'll have to reach out to Debbie to see if she'll be available to
Okay.
make sure you have a quorum, but that could be the tentative date.
All right, so if everyone could, maybe notate Monday, December 8th, 9 AM as the tentative date, and we will finalize that upon word from Joe in regards to one of our other committee members being able to attend. Okay. All right. Well, that being said, do I have a motion for adjournment in a second?
I'll motion to adjourn.
Motion by Mary Ann, second by Barbara. Thank you, Barbara. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, Barbara.
Barbara.
Thank you for bailing me out.
Oh, my God.